All right, good Tuesday afternoon, everyone. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. The pattern is absolutely loaded with storms going through this week, going through next week, and beyond. And the cold weather is continuously going to filter down, and we're going to have basically a storm track change as we go into next week too, which could bring a lot of snow to the south yet again. And we'll go over that here briefly, but we'll have a lot more over in the supporter hub. Well, if you're not a supporter, it's the best $4.99 you'll ever buy. It's cheaper than a Starbucks cup of coffee. We'll have the link in the comments here. We'll have all the long range content, but like I said, the pattern is absolutely loaded with winter storms going forward. But first, we got to talk about the short range here. Big winter storm coming up through parts of the area here, going into tonight into Wednesday. Last night, there was icing across the higher elevations across the Ozarks in Arkansas and Missouri. And then had a little skinny stripe of snow going from parts of Missouri all the way over towards Kentucky, where it really started getting going over there. Heard some reports of 4 to 6 inches over that way so far, and then over towards the Carolinas. Then we're going to have severe weather to talk about tomorrow, and then another severe weather event on Saturday. So a lot of stuff going on. So stay with us here. Let's go over all the latest across the area. But first, if you're just now joining us, make sure you click that like button over on YouTube and Facebook. We're live in both locations right now. Comment where you're from. We'd love to hear from you. What kind of weather are you seeing in your area today? And also share this with your friends and family. Also, if you haven't followed our page, click that follow button on Facebook. YouTube's a little bit different. You hit that subscribe button. It's basically like following a page on Facebook. Hit that subscribe button, hit all notifications, and you will be notified every time we go live or post video content over on YouTube. All right, let's get right into it because we have a lot of stuff to talk about. All right, let's get right into it. We have, we can probably see this first storm system. You can see it really, really getting its act together across parts of the Ohio Valley, up through Kentucky, getting over towards Virginia and North Carolina, where there's going to be some freezing rain, some heavier snows up here towards Maryland as well. We'll go over that here in just a second. But our next system, right on the heels, it's coming into the Baja of California right now. This is it right here on the bottom of your screen. This is going to start rocketing northeast as we go throughout the rest of today into tomorrow. Going to create a big swath of heavy snow on the northwest side of it. More freezing rain, sleet, more heavier rain. So we're going to have to deal with some severe weather possible back here into parts of the deep south for tomorrow. We're going to go over that here in just a second. All right, here is the current alerts, weather alerts across the United States. Here comes that big storm system, like I said. Winter storm warnings basically from parts of Kansas all the way through northern half of Missouri, through southeastern Iowa into parts of Illinois. We have winter storm watches up here in Michigan. We have winter storm watches in the Sierras over here as well. And here's that first system coming through parts of the Ohio Valley, going through Kentucky, over towards Virginia and West Virginia, Maryland, with some very heavy icing and some very heavy snows out that way. Some counties are starting to get added here in Arkansas for winter weather advisories because of icing on top of icing you've already received across parts of the higher terrain in parts of Arkansas and southern Missouri. So another possibly up to 1/10 of an inch of ice on top of what you already encountered across parts of the higher terrain in Arkansas. Like I said, back here in parts of California, they're expecting upwards of 7 to 8 feet of snow in the Sierras through next weekend or this coming weekend. So they are getting absolutely loaded down with storms now, much needed out that way. Flash flood watches out here towards Louisiana and into parts of Kentucky and Tennessee. These will probably be expanding over the next few days as very heavy rains continue across the same areas throughout the rest of this week into this weekend. All right, snowfall totals. Snowfall totals over the past 48 hours, basically with this first system coming through, about about less than an inch here in parts of southern Missouri, then over towards east central or southeastern parts of Missouri as well, 1 to 2 inches. Then it kind of skips along half an inch to an inch across most of southern Illinois into northern parts of Kentucky. Then as you get towards the south of Louisville, really ramps up 2 to 3. Here's 4 inches, 4 to 6 here. And there's some yellow shades up in here. So 6 to 8 inches up here into the mountains of Kentucky into Virginia. And that's just the start of it to come over the next 24 hours out this way. And then we're going to have another big stripe of snow coming. We'll go over that here in just a second. All right, let's take a look at we're going to take a look at the NAM here because I think it did a decent job in picking up this this freezing rain into parts of the Ozarks last night. So I'm going to stick with it and did a pretty good job overall radar presentation. As we go towards this afternoon, seeing the upper part of your screen here, Louisville over towards just south of Columbus, Ohio, over towards Washington, D.C., northern parts of Virginia here, very heavy snows. Mixed bag of freezing rain, sleet, snow back from Roanoke to Richmond. And then cold air damming basically up against the mountains here. So freezing rain up against the eastern parts of the Appalachians here, crossing on North Carolina into Virginia, West Virginia as well. Now, as we get into later today, a little bit of a break, maybe some spotty drizzle, some snowflakes up here in parts of Missouri. Still some very heavy rain across Louisiana, through Mississippi, through parts of Kentucky, or I'm sorry, to Alabama, to Tennessee, that is, for the rest of today. You can see very heavy snows are socked in across the mid-Atlantic here. But now our attention is going to be turning to this next storm system coming across parts of the Central Plains here, Southern Plains. We're going to go over that. You can see very, very heavy freezing rain, possibly some sleet, snow mixed northwest of basically I-44 in Oklahoma here, Oklahoma City and northward. Very heavy freezing rain, sleet, very heavy snows up here into parts of Kansas, Nebraska, parts of the Texas Panhandle, probably some rain mixed with snow up here. So then very heavy rains down here across the south overnight here. As we go towards 5, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, this is doing a great job picking up at the higher elevations here in parts of Arkansas on staying below freezing. That's going to be freezing rain. You had ice accruals upwards of 1/4 inch last night in parts of the higher terrain of Arkansas, and this is going to add some more problems up that way. Another 1/10 of an inch or so of ice, like I said, icing and freezing rain back here, and sleet back here towards Oklahoma City, maybe changing over to freezing rain in Tulsa, Springfield, mixed bag of sleet, snow, freezing rain across southeastern parts of Missouri, southern Illinois, getting up here towards Indy, Columbus, Ohio, even. Very heavy rains continue across the south here as well. And then as we get forward here, the snow is very heavy across parts of basically all of Iowa is socked in with heavier snows as you go east, Chicago to Peoria, Springfield, Illinois, north of I-70 in Missouri. This is at the noon hour tomorrow. St. Louis getting in on the freezing rain and sleet, probably changing to some snow as we go forward here. And then, like I said, travel is going to be a nightmare up into the Midwest here, Iowa to Chicago, basically, and then getting up towards Michigan. Now, there's going to be some wraparound snows, possibly get into parts of Arkansas as we get into tomorrow night across the Ozarks here. As cold air really wraps in behind this, there's going to be some snow showers and flurries coming down through parts of northern Arkansas and most of Missouri, that is. Very heavy rainfall across parts of the south. And we're going to go over rainfall totals, but I would not be shocked to see 8 to 12 inches of rain between this first system and after we get through this weekend into Monday. Somebody's going to end up with probably 8 to 12 inches of rain More freezing rain as we go into late tomorrow night into parts of Virginia, up here towards Pennsylvania, up towards New York State. Possibly some sleet, freezing rain. Chicago still very heavy snows back that way. And then this basically gets out of here. Now, we're going to have some severe weather to talk about as well. All right, I went over to the HRRR now so I can show you kind of where the severe weather will be tomorrow. We're basically targeting parts of Mississippi and Alabama here in the Gulf Coast. Let's see if I can get this to play for you. Hold on. There we go. All right, so as we get into tomorrow, this is when we're going to start tomorrow afternoon. This is where we're going to start seeing some storms start to develop. There is going to be a tornado threat tomorrow. And as we get through the overnight hours, into tomorrow evening, into the overnight hours, big line of storms starting to develop back here towards New Orleans, all the way up towards Mississippi and Alabama. Like I said, this is going to be where the severe weather events happen tomorrow. But then we're going to have to deal with another severe weather event possibly as we go to Saturday. Like I said, there's a lot going on. So this video is going to be a long one for you all, trying to get you all up to date on what's happening across the area. Alrighty, severe weather for tomorrow, Wednesday, from New Orleans to Atlanta, Birmingham, Baton Rouge, over towards Montgomery, Alabama. Slight risk of severe weather. There's going to be all modes of severe weather going to be possible, including tornadoes. And the marginal risk, Beaumont, Texas, to Sandy Springs, Georgia, Macon, Roswell to Albany, Georgia as well. So up towards Huntsville. This is the marginal risk for tomorrow, that is. Let me show you what's going to happen this weekend as well. But first, let me go over the tornado outlook for tomorrow. The brown area is 5 to 9% probability of a tornado within 25 miles at any given point. And basically that slight risk area from right around Atlanta all the way back to New Orleans. And then in the green, 2 to 4% chance of a tornado, a possibility of a tornado within 25 miles at any given point in the green. All right, as we go towards Saturday, big time severe weather possible. We already have a slight risk out for Saturday. This is going to be this could change over the next few days. You need to stay up on the weather with us. So basically, all Louisiana, parts of actually almost all of Mississippi, Alabama, even up towards Nashville, slight risk of severe weather. All modes will be possible on Saturday as well. So please stay up on the weather. Like I said, this pattern is loaded with storms, very heavy rainfall as well. We're going to go over snowfall over the next, basically all the way through Sunday, and then we'll go over rainfall here now. So give me just a second. Let me pull it up for you. All right, let me get rid of that for you. But here is the latest from the Weather Prediction Center over the next 7 days. Is ending next Tuesday. So widespread 4 to 8 inches. This is on top of what you've already received. 4 to 8 inches, basically from parts of northern Louisiana through Mississippi, parts of Alabama, parts of Tennessee, even. Lots of rain. Like I said, those flood watches will be probably continued and expand over the next few days, going throughout the weekend here. This is only for the next couple of storms, that is. So we got several severe weather events to go through. Very heavy snows on the northwest side of this, freezing rain. Basically, Mother Nature is throwing the whole kitchen sink at us over the next 7 days here. And then as we get towards next week, pattern's still loaded, and the cold air is going to get more entrenched, and there's going to be more possibilities of a snowstorm or two across the south. So, like I said, we'll have more on that over in the supporter hub. I'm going to show you briefly here what I'm talking about, what the pattern's going to look like. All right, snowfall. Snowfall over this second winter storm that's coming through. Anywhere in the red here, very high possibility of greater than 4 inches of snow, basically from Kansas City, Missouri, up towards Burlington, Iowa, Peoria, Illinois, Chicago, and then up through most of Michigan. Like I said, travel's going to be a nightmare up here as well. In the green, pretty good probability, 40 to 70% chance of at least of greater than 4 inches of snow. And then in the bluish, 10 to 40% chance of greater than 4 inches of snow going in through this will be later tonight into tomorrow. All right. Here is greater than 8 inches, greater than 8 inches of snow. This is a good possibility, basically in northern suburbs of Chicago, up here towards southeastern Wisconsin, back towards west central parts of Illinois. Pink here, or the purplish, is 10 to 40% likelihood of greater than 8 inches of snow. So could be a good bet across parts of northern Missouri into southeastern, eastern Iowa, northern Illinois, that is, and through most of the lower part of Michigan here as we go in through later tonight into tomorrow. All right, what you see on your screen here is probability of at least a glaze of ice across with this second storm system. The first one is out here, so this is going to be a lot of ice out here, but this is a very good probability of greater than a glaze out here towards the mid-Atlantic. But from Oklahoma, Texas, all the way up through parts of the higher terrain of the Ozarks and Arkansas, through southern half of Missouri, including St. Louis, Springfield, then going up towards Indianapolis through Ohio, good chance of at least a glaze of ice as we go towards tonight in through tomorrow. This is including freezing rain and sleet, that is. Then as we go throughout as we track this storm system northeast, you can see the freezing rain really catching on up here into Pennsylvania and the northeastern parts of the United States. So at least a glaze possible. We go to at least a tenth of an inch of ice. I think this is a little bit underdone across the parts of the higher terrain in northern Arkansas. I think at least there could be upwards of a tenth, maybe a little bit higher in some of the higher peaks here in Arkansas, but at least a tenth of an inch of ice possible just south of St. Louis. Good possibility there, and then across Indiana into Ohio, and then across parts of Virginia as well. A very good likelihood of at least a tenth of an inch of ice out that way. All right, let's go over storm tracks over the next 7 days or so across the area. So here comes this next winter storm, basically across parts of Oklahoma into Kansas, Missouri, Iowa into Illinois. Like I said, freezing rain, higher terrain in Arkansas, parts of southern Missouri. And that's gets out of here. Some wraparound snows into the Ozarks as well. Like I said, travel is going to be a nightmare, basically from parts of northern Oklahoma, Kansas, I-70, basically from Denver all the way through St. Louis, going to be an absolute nightmare. And then I-80 as well. So if you're traveling anywhere that way, you need to stay up on the weather for sure. Very cold over the next few days after this system comes through, kind of a little bit of a lull. And then here comes this storm system this weekend, and it's showing a little bit of more of a southerly jog over the next as we go into this weekend. So we'll have to stay up on it because this could be some heavier snows back here into parts of Arkansas, Missouri, and then heading up towards north of the Ohio River here. So then that's what we're looking at here. And then the storm track's going to change just a little bit as the high pressure kind of pops a little bit across the southwestern parts of the United States. And then this could be another winter storm coming as we head towards next week. So very heavy snows could be possible. And then this thing really wraps up. Look at this. If this like I said, this is just one model run. This is just one model run. This could be a nasty snow event if this happened this way. So stay up on this. I'm not saying this is set in stone yet, but I'm showing you there is still possibilities, and winter is not over by a long shot. This is going to be a widespread, nasty, heavy snow event for most of parts of Louisiana, all the way up through Mississippi, Kentucky, through Tennessee, even parts of Arkansas. I'm just going to show you some of the, and then it's not done after that. Even there's, like I said, the storm train is going to continue over the next few weeks, and more snow is possible even as we go towards later in the month and into February, into March already. So I'm going to show you this just to show you, but I'm telling you, this is not a forecast. Let me repeat that. This is not a forecast, okay? I'm just showing you the possibilities coming down the stretch here. All righty, here's the first system coming through. And then here is the second storm system, basically with the widespread 6 to 10 plus up here into parts of Iowa and through northern Illinois into Wisconsin. Lighter snow is back here into parts of Oklahoma, maybe dusting to 2 to 3 inches, possibly across northern parts of Oklahoma, along and north of I-44 in Missouri, probably a dusting to 2 to 3 inches possible. And then here comes the weekend storm system. Like I said, it's slowly trending a little bit further south. Like I said, northern Arkansas, southern Missouri could get in some snows this weekend. You'll have to stay up on it because this is an ever-changing weather situation as we go out through the week here. But this model came through basically along and north of I-40, could have snow on the ground as we head towards later this weekend. So that'll be good news there. Now, we're setting the stage for some colder air because we have a ton of snowpack now that's laid down across the northern parts of the United States if this happened here. And then as we go into next week, like I said, this is just one model. Do not take this into stone, but I'm showing you the possibilities. I have to say this a million times because there's someone that's going to just look at the picture and be like, oh my gosh, this is going to happen. This is not a forecast, all right? I'm showing you the possibilities. But here comes that storm system next week. This could, if this came true, this would be an epic snow event across the South, northeastern Texas, through most of Arkansas, up towards Memphis, through Kentucky. This one model has 20 inches of snow in Memphis. That would be absolutely epic if this came true across the area. And like I said, it ain't over. Here comes the next system after that, adding on to some more. So there could be, if this came true, this will be an epic late winter event across the area. And teleconnections are good. The pattern looks absolutely right for at least one or two more major storm systems coming through the South. This would be a great way to really put the icing on the cake with all the weather we've had and all the historic winter weather we've had already, with most of us getting above average snowfall already for the winter. Need to help out our friends over here in parts of western Texas as well. They've been kind of left out, and of course the I-20 corridor has been left out as well. So we're trying our best to try to get something down to you all to satisfy you all, but you know how Mother Nature is. She always has some tricks up her sleeve. But like I said, what you see on your screen here is just one model run. This is going to change, but if this came true, this would be an absolutely epic way to almost end winter across the area. So, and then, like I said, we saw March. There has been times where we've had epic snows in March even. So, a lot of storminess to come, showing you the possibilities. This is not a forecast. Gotta say it again on your screen here. So that's basically all we have for now. And we'll have more long-range updates over the Supporter Hub. You'll see content over there you don't see on our public page at all. If you want to join, there's a link in comments. Otherwise, please stay safe. There's going to be flooding, severe weather, ice, heavy snowfall. Like I said, the pattern is absolutely loaded over the next basically 14 to 20 days across all of the area. Okay, so stay safe out there. Stay with us. We'll have more information, more updates over on Facebook. And of course, we will have continuous long range updates over in our supporter hub on Facebook and our members only area on YouTube as well. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great rest.